It's here! The Nintendo Wii.
Thrift store gold or €5 for trash.
What kind of output does this have? This is some ancient Super VHS output or something.
$20 well spent. Is it gonna work?
Yeah, boy!
Howdy y'all, welcome to the DIY channel, or welcome back to the DIY channel. Nintendo Wii is by far the easiest console to mod. All you need is an SD card and a computer and you're away. So let's jump in and get this thing root hacked. It doesn't hurt to update your console, and we just need to take a wee note of our version number and zip across to our internet settings. And in our internet settings we can see our console information and write down your MAC address and you're good to go. To save time from having to do all the mods one by one, we can use ModMii. All the links will be in the description below. But downloading it can throw up some false positives, which is a bit of a pain, but if you go further in the settings you'll be able to download it anyway. Yeah, we got it. I'm going to extract it to a wee little folder over here, and then we open up the new folder, fire up the ModMii skin, and here we just type in I agree, hit next, and we're going to use the ModMii wizard. Yes, this is the first time soft modding. My system version was 4.3, and yes, E for Europe. We're using an SD card, so we're going to use the Wii brand hack and enter your MAC address. I'll use the recommended. I'll skip the Wii Connect stuff. I'll keep the same old boring theme. Yes, I want a USB loader. That's probably the most important part. If you want, you can try all of them, but the GX one is the main one we need. A very temperamental SD card reader, so I just install it to the hard drive. And we click finish. Ignore the error, and successful. Finish and close. Now we can set up our SD card. You're going to want to right click it and format it as FAT32. If you're a Windows user, you have to use a third party program if you want to use SD storage or USB storage bigger than 32 gigs. I use Rufus, list the USB drives, select non-bootable and GPT partition scheme, and give it a name, large FAT32 default, hit start. It doesn't hurt to double check you've got the right device, and hit OK to format. Now we're ready to copy over the files that ModMii created. Just drag and drop them onto the SD card. Make sure date and time is set correct, and then go to your mailbox and scroll back a day, and when you find the little bomber man, that's the hack. So open it up, hit 1 to continue, and we're in HackMii. Continue again, go up to install the Homebrew Channel, continue. Once it's succeeded, continue again, and now go down to BootMii. Next we're going to do our install BootMii as iOS. So continue through all of that until it's succeeded, hit continue again, and then we can return to our main menu and exit. And we've finally reached the Homebrew channel. From here, hit the home button on your Wiimote to get into the sub menu. And now we can launch BootMii. To navigate in BootMii, you need to use the power and reset button. So press the power button until you reach the cogs, and then press the reset button to select it. This allows us to back up our firmware from our NAND chip. So hit reset, and it will start backing up to our SD card. If you don't know about Team Tweezers, they're the first people to hack the Nintendo Wii, and they did it with a pair of tweezers. Verify succeeded. Hit any key, use your power button, get to the back arrow, hit restart, power button, restart, and we're back at the Homebrew channel. Now I'm going to use the right arrow to find my PriiLoader Installer. Load that, and then we use the plus key to start installing it. And once that's succeeded, hit A to exit, and then A again. Now we have the PriiLoader Launcher. Open it up, and we can go to our system menu hacks. The most important thing to do is block disk updates and block online updates. There's lots of handy stuff in here though, like 480p graphics fix. You can remove the flicker, so if you have an LCD screen, you can turn off the system music. So head down the bottom and save your settings, and then head back to the Homebrew channel. So we can open our yet another WAD manager, load that, so we can modify our OS to launch the Homebrew channel. Hit the A button to continue, use the D-pad to navigate, and the plus button to select every file in here. Once you have all 44 selected, head back to the top and press the A button, and then press the A button again to install them all. And just like that, this console is modded. Now when I boot, I'll be able to get back to the Homebrew channel. And we can reboot, and if you see you have the Homebrew channel, you're successfully hacked. Now you're safe to join the Wi-Fi, and we can start customizing our operating system. Okay, let's open up the Homebrew channel. First, we need to set up Nintendont. This is how we launch Gamecube games from the USB loader. We select SD card because you can't save Gamecube games on a hard drive and play them. You can only use them for backups. We press B to get to our settings, and each time we launch a Gamecube game, these are the settings that will apply. So let's enable memory card emulation, and let's set up native control for our Gamecube controller. We can even stretch our screen a bit if we need. There's a bunch of handy stuff in here, and just hit the home button to go back, and then the home button again. To back up and run all our games, we want to use USB Loader GX. You can just use your SD card, but I want a big fat boy USB drive. Now make sure you plug them into the bottom port and don't use USB stick drives. So to back up all my games, I'm going to mod this so it can use a different file system, the Windows NT file system. So you know what that means? Leave it in the comments if you think we should try and run Windows 95 on this beast. We just need to customize 4 of our image operating systems. So I'm going to get the latest D2X cIOS installer. The Wii Hacks website is awesome. Definitely use it to double check all the values if you're watching this in the future. So of course it's another zip. Do what you got to do. Extract it, unzip it, or just open it up, however you prefer. Then all we need to do is drag and drop the installer in the apps folder on our Wii SD card. And while we're on our SD card, we might as well back up our NAND files. That way if we accidentally brick our console, we might have the hope to restore it. But that shouldn't happen with the NAS downloader. We can get the 4 iOS files we need by following the configuration steps. Now we can extract all the files and folders, and we can run the NAS downloader executable. Navigate to the database and select iOS 38, then select V4123. Make sure the pack WAD is checked. Click start the NAS download. Now we do the same thing again. Open the database, and this time we're going to select our iOS 56 version 5661. Then we will start the NAS download again. And next we do database iOS 57 version 5918. Download that. And lastly we're going to do our database iOS 58 V6175. Download that. Now our NAS downloader has created a directory called titles. We need to go in there and then go into the 4 subdirectories 2 times, and then at the very end we'll find our WAD package. So drag all 4 onto your SD card's root directory. This is iOS 58 version 6175, so we just need to do the other 3, and we can eject that and put it back in the Wii. Power it up. Launch the Homebrew channel, and we can launch D2X cIOS installer. So we press any key to continue, and now at the top here we have our settings that we need to define, and you'll see in the notes we're in offline mode. I like to do it this way because I don't have the Ethernet adapter for the Wii, and the Wi-Fi can't work with this app. The first setting we need is the latest version 11 beta 1. Next we select our base 38 and then our slot 248, and lastly we select our revision 65535 and then press A to continue. And this brings up our slot map, and we can see that our 248 slot is flashing. This is correct. If yours is not flashing, you may need to reboot or just use B to go back and recheck your settings. If it's good, hit A to install. Now it's finished. We can see that 248 is in green. So we can press A to continue. 1 WAD down. Let's move on to the next one. Set our base to 56 and our slot to 249. Hit A to continue. Now our next slot's flashing. We hit A to flash it back. Now 249's done. Let's move on to 250. Smash the A button, select our base 57, slot 250, hit the A, and 250's flashing, hit the A again. Everything is looking good. 1 left to go. Hit the A for the lucky last. Our last iOS base is 58 and slot 251, and 251's flashing. Hit the A to install. And we are done. Hit B to exit. And now we can fire up USB Loader GX and start to back up all our games. I'm going to start with Gamecube games, but if you want to view your Wii games, click up the top there and then just make sure you have selected Wii games. This way you'll see them after you've installed them. Pop in a disk, that should load up, hit install and SD path because it's Gamecube, and then away it goes. And then on to the next one. We can even get the cover art. Just go to the game and click on the question mark and then hit OK. And we're prompted to download all the missing files. Just hit OK and away it goes. Didn't find 4, but they're probably irrelevant anyway. And we've got our cover art. Ooh, Nintendo was spicy back in the day. Not sure I can play this one, it might get me demonetized. So let's move on to some normal Wii games. So you can use up to a 2 terabyte external drive in the NTFS file format. If you need to format it, make sure you've selected NTFS and make sure you're plugged into the bottommost port. Bond, James Bond. So load in the disk, and this time we just have to hit OK and it will automatically install to our hard drive. You just click the cover art, hit the start, and then you're into some James Bond. I'd love to play some 4-player split screen of this. That would sure bring back some good memories. And we just go through all our games, and once we have them done, we can start to customize our system to be how we want it. We can have it boot straight to USB Loader GX. There's a bunch of layouts for USB Loader GX. We can change the music. We can use a Gamecube controller. We can play Japanese games. There's a lot of stuff we can do. So to get all that set up, we just go back to our PriiLoader Launcher and navigate down to the System menu Hacks. And we can auto press A, so we skip the start screen. We can region free everything. We want to enable no system background music and no system sound effects and background music. This one took a couple of tries to get to work, but it's really nice when you don't have that annoying repetitive music. And read through everything, enable anything else you like the look of, and then save your settings and go back with the B button. And next we need to go down to settings, and we can set our auto boot to any program we want. Maybe you want the Homebrew Channel, and I'm also going to set return to auto boot. But I want to actually run the USB loader, so I'm going to specify installed file on our auto boot. Now we can save and exit, and we want to load/install file. Use the USB Loader GX. That's going to install it, and we can hit B and we're all done. So if we reboot, it boots straight into the USB Loader GX. We have our 22 games, and if we want to go back, you press the home button and you can choose to go back to the Homebrew Channel or the Wii menu. What about emulation? Get the Homebrew Browser. It is filled with literally so many different emulators. Are you getting sick of unzipping yet? You can always just open it with File Explorer, you know. And we need to go into the apps folder and then just drag the Homebrew Browser into the apps folder on our SD card. And that way my zip, I can just delete it, saves time, saves hard drive room. And now we have the Homebrew Browser. So fire that up. You're going to want to have your internet on because it's going to download all the icon files. There is some free games in here, but I'm really just interested in the emulators. And boy howdy is there a lot of emulators. But for now, let's download Not64. And you can also apply these same steps to the other emulators as well. And now we can turn that off. Somehow, by some miracle. Yeah, baby! PlanetEmu is still up. Not sure for how much longer. Only download the games you own. Please don't sue me, Nintendo. This is purely educational, guys. So our N64 emulator creates a ROMs folder on the SD card. We just need to drop our ROM straight in there. Now back on the Wii, we have Not64 in the Homebrew Channel. Open that up and we just load the ROM from SD card. Perfect dark. And if this game actually runs, it will be so cool because this needed the RAM expansion pack, which gave the N64 a whole 8 megabytes of RAM. RAM expansion pack detected. Yeah boy! It runs surprisingly well for an emulator. I'm sure it's going to crash at some point, but that's pretty standard. All you have to do to get out is just press the reset button. I'm stoked with how this €5 Wii turned out. Put it on our balance board. And now I get to enjoy a unique experience that we may never get again with a modern console.
Yo, let's play backflip tricks are looking sick.
And maybe next time we can try and do a HDMI mod on one of these things. So thanks for watching, y'all, and I'll see you on the next one.